Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of the Rush Hour podcast. I got a special Sunday episode for you. We have a clip that's making the rounds across the internet. Last night on Saturday Night Live, Blake Lively became the punchline in a Weekend Update skit. I'm going to share it with you. It's quick. It's a good one. Easy punch. And I'll give you my comedian thoughts, too. That Blake Lively roasted, as you can see right there, nice flattering photo of Justin Baldoni. And I'll kind of break down how I believe Saturday Night Live works. I know a bunch of writers that have written on the show. I know some comedians that are on the show right now, and it's not some grand conspiracy about like we need to protect this image versus that. It's really what jokes are funny and what can we say on air and all of that. So we'll discuss this, but I want you guys to know today's video is thanks to you. I told you yesterday, if you got me a couple thousand subscribers, I would make a Sunday video. And look at that. You went from 123,000 to 125,000. So thank you guys so much. More on that in a little bit, but I'm going to give you guys an exclusive behind the scenes look at my studio, which I've repainted this week. I got some new pathos. I hung the YouTube plaque. I got all of that. So stick around for that. And we're going to get into this. So here's the quick joke that was told a few weeks ago at the SNL 50. Let's start with this one, and then we'll share the one from last night.
Who else has a question?
I have a question.
Oh, hey, Ryan Reynolds.
Hi.
Hey. Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
All right, and then, of course, Blake looks at him. So there it is. And again, funny, other than the collateral damage of if his wife is guilty of the accusations being made that she faked a harassment complaint in order to siege control of the film. If that's all true, then not the right time nor the right place to be making fun of that. But hey, here's a good one. This is a good one. In what wild world do we live in where you can go from Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, to Blake Lively in the punchline, all within 10 seconds? Have a listen.
Zelensky was asked to leave the White House. Then he appeared on Fox News and said he thinks he can still salvage his relationship with President Trump, which is like Justin Baldoni saying, I'd love to work with Blake again.
All right, so which one is Justin Baldoni? Which one is Blake? Now, life is inherently political, and I don't want to spend too much time talking about this. I'll save this for tomorrow morning's Rush Hour podcast, but I believe Justin Baldoni is Ukraine here. He was invaded. What do you expect him to do? He was trying to protect his show. Right now, it's not a perfect comparison, but, you know, whenever you explain a joke, you kill it, right? Because the reason why we laugh at things is we take an assumption, and then we sort of bury that assumption with the new information. That's what the punchline is. Now, they sort of give the punchline away by cutting to the face of Baldoni a little early there, but the tension being built between something very serious, such as Ukraine and the U.S. Not receiving the peace deal that they were hoping, and the chaos that happened breaking Friday afternoon, and all of the mess that spilled over, that is the setup to relationships don't always work out. And Trump and Zelensky are about as happily together as Baldoni and Blake Lively. So as far as that's concerned, that's the only element of the joke you need. And when you overanalyze it, you kind of lose it in the weeds. But this is how it works, right? If you have an episode of SNL that airs Saturday night, I've worked background on them a few times. How it works is you really start your work week on like a Tuesday. Monday, you might float some ideas by with the new host, but then you start on a Tuesday. You have your sketches. That's a whole complete different segment. And then you've got the main writing, which is the monologue, which is also separate. You have a monologuist and you have it tailored to the host and people pitch in, but then you have a Weekend Update, which is, Colin Jost, Michael Che. As far as right now, Colin Jost is the head writer. So again, they have a whole list of topics to include, and then they kind of find out how they can tie them all together and write jokes. So there is no grand conspiracy about laying off a joke. To be quite honest, at the SNL 50 event, which I watched late, I watched it last night, you had jokes about P. Diddy. They even did a montage about things that are now canceled. That being, certain skin tones, not just blackface, but other skin tones that were readily worn on camera on SNL throughout the last 50 years. You can imagine the change in times in the last 50 years. You had a bunch of American, white men doing Asian accents and literally desecrating some cultures. And people can argue about what's crossing the line and what's not. But I think the point is you kind of know it when you see it in today's world. I live in a world where I don't think judging how people acted in the past is productive to where we are today. I don't think it is. What might have been taboo 9 years ago or not taboo, it completely changes with the times. And that's what comedy's all about, living in the moment and poking fun at the moment. And in the moment, we've got Zelensky, obviously, and Trump, that crazy story from Friday. And then we've also got this story, Justin Baldoni. Now, as you know, these jokes are written like sometimes up until the minute. They literally have cue card guys in the back getting high off the fumes of Sharpies, writing these jokes down as they sort of adjust depending on the times. They shoot an episode 2 hours beforehand, like 9 or 10 p.m. They shoot an episode. They don't air it. They just record it. And depending on how the audience reacts, they'll adjust things. So if a joke bombs and you don't believe in it, you might cut it. And I say that because there was a lot of discussion about Ryan Reynolds and the joke he told and how he rewrote it for the crew. That's super normal. If he's going to be the person saying something out loud, he has input on what is said. In the end, if they don't think it's funny, they'll let him know and they'll collaborate in that direction. But it wasn't that the joke wasn't funny because the audience laughed. It was that when you break down the joke that Ryan Reynolds said, you realize kind of like imagine if the genders were reversed. This would be an absolute monstrous thing to make fun of. And of course, less about the collateral damage to Justin Baldoni. With Ryan Reynolds, the real tragedy there is they're in a hundreds of $1 million lawsuit where Blake's going to have to get on the stand and say, I'm emotionally damaged from this man. And then Justin Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, is going to say, then why the F did you go on live TV and let your husband make a joke about it? Well, because gallows humor and I wanted to, okay, sure, whatever. It ain't going to look good. It ain't going to help your case. So either way, that's the flying too close to the sun, the itch to tell a joke. Trust me, I've been thrown out of many a classroom when I made a joke the teacher told me not to. And that's the itch that you have sometimes. And there they are, pre-planned, and they told it. And again, this one right here, of course, is interesting the more you think about it. Colin Jost is married to Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson was married to Ryan Reynolds. Not only that, Ryan Reynolds and Scarlett Johansson's marriage ended with a little bit of a feud. They've kept it tight-lipped. Sleuths of the internet have been looking at Ryan's brief marriage with actress Scarlett Johansson. Is it Johansson or Johansson? From back in 2008. She's from South Africa, right? She's the second most famous South African we know here in the U.S. after Elon Musk. I think she's. I hope I'm not wrong with that. I'll Google it. More specifically, the Deadpool star, Ryan Reynolds, allegedly controlled her during the relationship, especially after a bizarre text exchange with Justin Baldoni, where Lively appeared to refer to her husband as her dragon. So yeah, they were married in 2008. He's Canadian, of course, and they had these Canadians, they're nice, but hey, who knows? They're not all perfect. So either way, they were married a year after they got engaged, and nothing else to know there other than I think it's interesting. I don't think Colin Jost made fun of Blake Lively for any reason to get back at the fact that Ryan Reynolds was married to Scarlett Johansson. I don't think so. But if you're Colin Jost and your wife goes, oh my gosh, he's an absolute D-bag. We were married. I'll never say this publicly, but he was X, Y, and Z. If you're Colin Jost, you're like, F that guy. So time will tell in the next coming weeks if there are more jokes at Blake Lively's defense. And of course, it's still sensitive because, you got to keep it on the mark. Like this joke right here, I'll play it one more time. This joke is so good because it doesn't necessarily pick sides and it doesn't really dive into the he said, she said of it all.
Said he thinks he can still salvage his relationship with President Trump, which is like Justin Baldoni saying, I'd love to work with Blake again.
So the transitionary terms were salvage the relationship, right? Of course, and the relationship being that they'll never work again. It ends with us too. Definitely not going to happen. I mean, who knows? We'll see. So listen, I do stand-up comedy. That's what I do. And that's why I started my YouTube channel. And I wanted to let you guys know a lot of people have come into our crowd and asked us, how can I come to a show? Well, look no further. This is entirely free. I've got a link in my comment section to my mailing list. I only make emails. I only push them out when I have a show to promote or something major, right? I'm not trying to sell people timeshares. There is no sale happening other than letting you know when I'll be performing. So you can put your address down. You don't have to. You can just put your name and email, address, whatever. But if you want to know when I'm in your neighborhood, and I want to be doing shows in Lexington, Kentucky, Atlanta, Georgia, Washington, D.C., back in Seattle. I've been told we have some audience that's in some parts of Washington State, Maine, Boston, Rhode Island, always in New York, a bunch of Florida dates, Texas, obviously Southern California, back in Scottsdale, Chicago. There are so many places I want to get to. If I see that I can sell 20 tickets in any of those cities, then I'll book the show and then we'll obviously sell more tickets afterwards. But just give me some heads up if you want to see me perform by signing up for my email list. And I wanted to thank you guys just with a quick behind the scenes. This is what photo I took today of my office. I added new velvet blue curtains here, which help with the sound quality. And from the other end here, here's a wide angle lens. Again, it's not perfect. There's wires everywhere, but you can see I've got new pathos I just bought. My wife is my agriculture consultant, and I got these nice hanging pots. It's going to come down real nice. And then there it is. There's the YouTube plaque. You guys got me to 100,000 subscribers just like 3 weeks ago, and all of a sudden we're at 125,000. Make no mistakes, folks. Sunday is a great day for gratitude. Make no mistakes. You guys out there, the loyal people that have stuck around, we used to call it Bookshelf Dave. I literally had this bookshelf I used to make content in when I lived in a 500 square foot apartment. This bookshelf right here will stay with me forever. Maybe I'll get buried next to this bookshelf. I used to make content standing right here because I didn't have a chair and I didn't have a studio, and my wife had to put headphones on so she could not have to listen to my annoying voice because we had one room we lived in. And the amount of abundance we've received thanks to you guys, the YouTube algorithm, and everybody else has been amazing, and I really, really thank you. Make sure to take some time to be grateful for the little things you have going on in life. The way that I believe the world works is when you send out that positive, loving frequency of thanks, of gratitude for whatever it is you have in life, you will receive more of that. You might not have much. It might be bleak out there. That is for tomorrow. That is for another day. Today, take the time to be thankful for that part of your family that does answer the phone when you call, that friend that is there for you, that job you might have, or even for the heartbeat that continues to drive you in the choices you make. If you express that thanks, it expands. And I'm just letting you guys know how thankful I am. Link is in the comment section if you want to join my mailing list and let you know about these shows. I perform everywhere from small 40 seat rooms to small theaters, comedy clubs, and I definitely am going to be getting on the road more. To be quite honest, my shows end up being a great place for people to meet up and become friends. A lot of friends have been made at the shows just because, you come to the show and you chat after and you do your thing. So anyhow, lots of just real, just positive things happening in life. And for all the new subscribers, I appreciate you. As far as the Blake Lively story goes, we actually do have a lot to cover this coming week. We'll probably tackle a lot tomorrow with regard to Blake Lively dropping her subpoenas. This is a wild story. I'm just holding on to it till Monday. And could it be this thing settles sooner than later? We'll have to see. Again, vote with your email addresses and click the link below. No spam. It's free. Sign up, and then when I have some show dates, I will blast them and let you know where I'll be. And maybe I'll blast my merchandise and other things like that. But we'll keep it just between us. I'm not going to sell your stuff to anybody. All right, Blake Lively, roasted. There's your Sunday. Have a fantastic one. I appreciate every single one of you. We'll be back in the morning. I'm Dave Neal.